2018 has been an interesting year for the Big N. The first year of the Switch was an excellent start with many great games, including, but not limited to, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, ARMS, Xenoblade 2, as well as giving some good Wii U games another chance on the system that outsold the PS2's first year. However, the following year wasn't as smooth sailing as its launch. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't flat out terrible, what with the existence of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Kirby Star Allies, and the Star Fox editions in Starlink, but things like Nintendo's Online and today's topic, Pokemon Let's Go, have definitely divided people in the fanbase. Speaking of which, Pokemon Let's Go is the first set of Pokemon games that feature aspects from the mainline games on the Switch. Not only that, but with how widespread Pokemon Go is, the very base of how you play is shifted. But trust me, we'll get there. The game starts with the player base named Chase or Elaine, as they are guided into your TV by either a Pikachu or Eevee depending on which version of the game you buy. Professor Oak would then give you the basic introduction to the world of Pokemon, and you begin in Pallet Town. You and your friend and rival Trace were supposed to get a Pokemon today from Professor Oak, though when you find him in the tall grass, a Pikachu or Eevee will appear. After a Pokemon catching tutorial, the Pokeball we use hops over to Oak's lab and is placed with the other two. If you purchase Let's Go Pikachu, Trace will get an Eevee, and if you purchase Let's Go Eevee, he'll get a Pikachu. At this point, the game proceeds analogous to Generation 1, specifically Yellow. Your starter is always out of its ball, it can't evolve, plus when Team Rocket shows up for the first time in Mount Moon, Jesse and James are also here. And hey, look, it's Archer from Generation 2! Yo, did they give you a personality yet? However, these aren't the only familiar faces we have. Red and Blue also make their own appearances, both aiding and battling the player at certain parts of the game. Plus, we get a game introduction to Green from the Pokemon Adventure manga. That's pretty cool, actually. Always nice to see fan service that doesn't always get in the way. However, this fan service from Blue specifically has me wonder if this game takes place in the Pokemon timeline or not. This game features Blue choosing to take over the Viridian City Gym to stop criminals like Team Rocket from using it, which would place this game between the 3-year gap between Gen 1 and Gen 2, but Giovanni, still the head of Team Rocket, is instead disbanded by Chase/Elaine and not Red or Leaf. This kinda means that Pokemon Let's Go can't completely exist with Generation 1 in the timeline. It's weird, as we actually see a young Mina before becoming a trial captain in the Alola games, so it definitely takes place before Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. You know what, let's not. After all, I'm sure a majority of us don't play Pokemon for the story. The gameplay of Let's Go feels like an amalgamation of Pokemon Go and the mainline games. Like Pokemon Go, there aren't any random encounters. The Switch can handle way more polygons on screen than a 3DS, so we can actually see the wild Pokemon on the field. When you encounter one, you don't enter a battle, but instead can catch it with Pokeballs, and utilizing various berries to either lower the resistance level, or just flat out stop the Pokemon from running away. Whenever getting ready to throw a Pokeball, you can aim with the Switch's gyroscope function, or the control stick. The smaller the reticle gets for catching, the higher your rank will be, just like in Pokemon Go. Plus, after each catch, all of your Pokemon get experience. A lot of people weren't a fan of this, but I am actually perfectly fine with this change. Considering Pokemon still likes to have the tagline of "gotta catch 'em all," even today when there are over 800 of these little guys, incentivizing catching to be just as large of an appearance as fighting trainers helps give the tagline an actual meaning. Not only that, but by catching multiples of the Pokemon in the wild, you can send them to Professor Oak in order to get various candies which can permanently raise a stat, or candies of specific Pokemon which raise all of the Pokemon stats. But this makes it easier to get shiny Pokemon as well. Not gonna lie, I kinda find this more fun than battling wild Pokemon all the time. Actually, battling in its own right is a bit of an amalgamation of various aspects of the Pokemon franchise. To get the basic explanation out of the way for those who haven't picked up Pokemon before, you have 4 basic moves available with their own limits on how many times they can be used. There are 18 different types with their own strengths and weaknesses. For example, Grass beats Water but is weak to Fire. Unfortunately, like Gen 1, there are no hold items or abilities. However, staples such as the separation of Special Attack and Special Defense from Gen 2, Natures from Gen 3, the Physical Special Split for moves from Gen 4, reusable TNs from Gen 5, as well as Mega Evolutions from Gen 6 return. And since you can't have Pokemon hold items anymore, all you have to do is use it in the bag in order for the Mega Evolution to activate. As for basic control, well, that's where some of my issues start. In terms of controller options, you only have the option of using one of the two Joy-Cons, as the other would be for co-op mode. The Pokeball Plus, which basically acts as a stylized Joy-Con specifically for this game, or the Switch and handheld mode using both Joy-Cons. While using one Joy-Con or the Pokeball Plus isn't that much of an issue on its own, it's kind of confusing how playing with both Joy-Cons as a controller with the Switch and its dock, as well as the Pro Controller, are not options available for playing the game. Was there really any reason for this? The controls would just be mapped to the same buttons as when playing the Switch in handheld mode, so why restrict using both Joy-Cons as a controller as well as the Pro Controller? It just doesn't make much sense to me. There are some other slight replacements in this game as well. Gone is Bill's PC storage system, as you can carry all of your Pokemon with you in your bag at all times, and can just swap out who you want on your team of 6. Plus, instead of an EXP share, all of your Pokemon just naturally gain experience every catch and every battle. However, the Pokemon that take part in the battle will obviously get more experience than the Pokemon just sitting there. Funnily enough, your Pikachu/Eevee can get some exclusive moves from a tutor that are actually really fun to use. This turns your basic normal type or electric type mon into a small walking arsenal, always ready with a move that can burn or heal when necessary. These moves are so much fun to use, however they can easily come off as overpowered at times. Eevee's exclusive electric move, Buzzy Buzz, always paralyzes. Eevee also gets Bouncy Bubble, a move that attacks the target and gives Eevee half of the HP taken from the target. And funnily enough, due to Eevee being able to evolve into 8 different evolutions with 8 different types, it gets way more exclusive moves than Pikachu does. And if that wasn't enough to show you that your Pokemon partner wants nothing but your happiness and love, not only are these Pokemon's base stats higher than their wild counterparts, but they can also gain access to secret techniques meant for out of battle. Yes, they use special abilities that take the place of HMs, so you don't even need to worry about needing a move deleter in Kanto anymore. Oh, you're my special child, Vui, I love you so much. Oh, by the way, speaking of great things, can I say that this game looks and sounds beautiful? Hearing Kanto music while seeing places like Cerulean City with its HD upgrades just make me fall more in love with the region that I originally thought was kinda boring. What can I say, I was a Sinnoh kid growing up. Now you can't ride a bike anymore, but considering the fact that if your Pokemon is fast enough and can support you, such as an Onix or an Arcanine, you won't even care about that expensive piece of crap. You can ride your Pokemon! Not only that, but you can change your clothes still and you can match with your partner! Alright, final thoughts. I really love Let's Go. Speaking from the perspective of someone who didn't grow up with Generation 1, it really appealed to the Pokemon fan in me. I think its more simplistic nature can bring in more players considering a large amount of people got into Pokemon through Pokemon Go. If you're up for a lighthearted adventure with the cutest little partner, then I'd say give Let's Go a try. With that said, I'm Pcuspard, and see you next game.